South. They're brought to you in part by AirTran Airways, by Verizon Wireless, by Aflac, by Dodge, by Carrabba's Italian Grill, and by Blimpie. Back here at Turner Field, folks continue to file in. Just an absolutely gorgeous night. John Shelby and Joe Simpson, and the Phillies and the Braves here this evening, concluding this three-game set and this homestand. For Charlie Manuel leading the National League in runs per game, Rollins, Victorino, and Utley, the big man Howard, but it's Jason Worth who has found Turner Field to his liking throughout the course of his career. He will go up against Javier Vasquez, and the right-hander has pitched well, just hasn't gotten the support.
32 years old, 6'2", 210. 11-7 lifetime against the Phillies, including what should be a 2-0 record this year. The Ford keys to the game for him: ride Blanco and Prado. Hope that they stay hot and get him some runs early. He's had tons of runs this year against the Phillies. In fact, a total of 17 scored when he started against them, but only one win because the team blew a 10-3 lead on one occasion in their first trip into Philadelphia.
So here we go. Vasquez, first pitch of the game, hit hard. And Casey Kochman gobbles that one up. That was an absolute one-hop rocket that Kochman was able to put away. See Jimmy Rollins in batting practice, swinging that big old bat that he used in his first AB. Oh, number 10. Wait, where'd you get that? Yeah, the Braves third baseman gave it to him.
Yeah, the Braves number 10, not the Phillies. Had Chipper's bat.
He called the clubhouse, asked for it, and Chipper gave him one. It's hard to imagine a little guy swinging a 35-inch, 34-ounce bat. I asked him before the game, I said, hey, what are you doing to get out of the funk? And he just showed me the bat.
Well,
okay.
He just scalded one, but it didn't work. Right at somebody. This is incredible what the Braves are doing to the top two guys in their order. I can't imagine anybody else in baseball coming close to controlling Rollins and Victorino the way Atlanta has. They are a combined 6 for 70 against them.
So Rollins hits it hard, nothing to show for it, and Javier Vasquez ahead of Victorino. The count 0-2. Javi just continues to pound the strike zone. Little check swing and a foul ball. CB Buckner on the call.
When you see the shot from center field as the pitch is about to be made, you'll notice that Shane Victorino, left-handed, is right up on top of the plate. He doesn't give you any room in there to work at all. He invites you to try to pitch him inside.
Yeah, right up on the line. And goes fishing after that one. It's a strikeout, first of the night for Javi.
His changeup lately has been devastating, Boog. Coming off a start again against Boston where he got beat 1-0. Pitched into the 8th inning, struck out 8, walked 3, and it was the changeup that did most of the damage. This is an aggressive offensive team, as you know. He might rack up a bunch of strikeouts tonight.
So he gets Rollins and Victorino, continues the trend of keeping the top two off base. That's the way you always want it, facing guys like Utley and Howard. A 428 on base percentage to go along with a 560 slugging percentage. And he's in the top 10 in the National League in both departments. In fact, his on base is second only to Pujols.
Great player. Great player. Does everything well. Good base runner. Good defensive player. Hits and hits with power.
I would say that he's a West Coast guy that has that East Coast blue collar feel. I mean, if you didn't know any better, he feels like a guy from Philadelphia or somewhere from the East Coast with that mentality.
Yeah, he doesn't like fanfare. He's not trying to find the bright lights and be in the interview room every night. He kind of shies away from any real serious media attention. Not that he can't conduct himself well in interviews and all that. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's Hollywood at all.
No.
Even though he went to UCLA.
But he loves to play, and he's been one of the most productive second basemen in the game over the course of the last 4 years.
And arguably the shortest swing in baseball. Short, quick, and powerful.
Vasquez taking a little too much time. So Javi got Rollins on the first pitch. Got ahead of Victorino 0-2. And now ahead of Utley.
First ball he's thrown.
He has gone 6 innings every start but 2. One of those was, as Matt Diaz called it, a 5 and dive. They were up big, and he just got his 5 innings to collect the win. So he could have gone 6, but they saved him. And then the other one was 5 2/3. So he's been amazing in terms of the pressure he has taken off of the bullpen.
All-star worthy. And you look at his record and you say, how can a guy go to the All-Star game that's 5-7? You have to look beyond that. An ERA that's right at 3. All those strikeouts, quality starts, and 0 run support.
Check swing. Did he go? And C.B. Buckner says no, he didn't. So now 2-2. Take a look.
Looked like he got it stopped. Get to see another pitch. That pitch was a changeup. Let's see if he doubles up on it. Throws him another one. Yep, and he shook off a bunch of pitches to get there.
Change up, swing and a miss. Good call, Joe Simpson. Pair of strikeouts for the right-hander. Phillies go 1-2-3, and the Braves coming up in the bottom of the first. Razor sharp in the first. The Braves coming up to hit and taking on Jay Happ. Here's Bobby's lineup, 12th in the NL in runs per game. Top 9 answers on the board. Martin Prado is what the survey says. Last 8 games, he's been something else and has been huge on this homestand. And they need that to continue. They go up against this lefty.
And he's got to be concerned about the top of the order with his 4 keys to success. And you saw, don't worry, just be Jay happy.
How long were you working on that one?
About a week ago. Coming off a shutout, he shouldn't worry. Just be
not to be confused with A.J. Zapp, right?
No.
Ball and a strike to Blanco. And that one finds the mark. Blanco He's done a great job getting on base. Plays good defense out there. And gives that element of speed that the Braves need as well. Little bouncer that Utley charges. 1 up and 1 down.
J-Hap throws 88 to 90, not overpowering. He's got a fastball that you might compare to, say, Randy Wolf, where it's kind of sneaky. Sometimes guys get the ball thrown by him, and they're late on it, and they're wondering, how did that happen? He's got a curveball. He's got a changeup. His curve kind of has a little tilt to it, kind of like a slider in a way. Out of Northwestern University.
Yeah, smart kid, 3rd-round pick in 2004 from Peru, Illinois. Talking to Rich Doobie, the Phillies pitching coach, he said there's just a little bit of deception there. That fastball gets on you a little quicker than you anticipate.
Hides the ball well, too. Kind of stands side saddle on the pitching rubber and then hides the ball behind his body pretty well, especially to right-handers.
See him angled off almost towards the Braves on deck circle. 1-2 now on Prado. Martin 13 for his last 26. Side as Utley picks that one up. 2 up and 2 down.
Martin's been asked a lot lately about the opportunity he's been given to play every day. And he's glowing because of his success lately, of course. But the thing that he's most proud of is that he didn't get put at second base by default. I mean, he's earned this playing time because of the way he's been playing. And for any ball player, that's what's most important.
I'll tell you, I talked to him about it today, the attention. And there's another element that plays in that I don't think is different at any level. As Chipper takes wide of the mark. He's pretty good friends with Kelly Johnson, and he feels for Kelly. It's hard when he's answering questions about Kelly's struggles and his success. And he told me about the difficulty in being real good friends with Kelly and seeing what he's going through. He said it's been a little tough. I mean, you can feel for that,
sure,
can't you?
Absolutely, I can. And
Chipper whacks that one out of the left center field, and Victorino over to cut it off.
There's a side story to that in a way, not of those two guys, but you think about how close Brian McCann and Jeff Francoeur have been their whole lives, and how last year Brian's having a great year, he's an all-star again, and his pal's struggling, and the friendship goes beyond just the playing field. They're friends off the field too, and you hurt for guys when they're your friends and they're not playing well. I'm sure it's doubly tough for Martin because he and Kelly play the same spot.
Yep. 0-1 to McCann. Snapped that 0 for 14 last night. Went 2 out of 5. Brian admitted something interesting to me, that he thinks that this recent semi-funk was started facing the knuckleballer. He said that facing Tim Wakefield the second time may have thrown his timing off a little bit.
It's not the first guy to have that happen to him.
He's down on strikes, and Happ pitches around the 2-out single by Chipper Jones. End of 1, no score at Turner Field. second. The Phillies and the Braves, and Atlanta gunning for the sweep. And our Cabot Woodstein legendary performance on this date in history, 1963. The Giants won Marichal and the Braves Warren Spahn drove 15 scoreless innings apiece before Willie Mays ends the game with a homer off Spahn in the 16th. I mean, that's about as amazing a pitching performance as you will find in terms of two guys squaring off.
Can you imagine how much fun that was watching that game?
And it ends on a homer by one of the greatest ever. Well, one of the greatest ever. A change up right there and a swing and a miss from Ryan Howard. See, Howard 20 home runs. He's knocked in 60. The on base at 328. A little low.
You talked about what a difference it makes for Utley and Howard when those top two guys are not on base. Check this out. Last year against Atlanta, 71 at bats, a 350 average, 7 homers, 24 driven in. This year, half the at bats, but no homers, only 2 RBIs against Atlanta. Drastic difference.
You just have more choices when you're facing him with the bases empty. You feel more comfortable to expand the zone, etc. And you can do things with the defense like the overshift.
And it's more than just a shift. They dropped Prado out there in shallow right field to try to take away any line drives as well. He threw him out from shallow right field in game 1.
Change up struck him out. 3 in a row for Javier Vasquez, and 3 in the game, 1 away.
Another change up, perfectly located, down and away. The one to Utley to end the first inning was about as perfect as it gets, dropping right on top of the ground to get him to chase that one.
So 1 away, and now Jason Wirth stands in. Despite Wirth's overall success in his career at Turner Field, against Javier Vasquez, he's just 2 out of 14. We'll see if Javi can keep that trend going.
Well, they had several guys that came to town hoping that they had the same Turner Field type success. Wirth's .415 lifetime average here. Victorino, a .415 hitter here his last 12 games. 2 homers, 9 RBIs. Utley had reached in 17 straight games at Turner Field. But again, he's another guy, this trickle-down effect from the top of the order. He's just 3 for 23 against Atlanta this season. And this is their first visit to Turner Field, but they've controlled him too.
Way inside.
And the Braves are 6-2 against them. Without any reservation, you know they should be 7-1. But blew that. It was game 3 of the season when they led 10-3 and lost 12-11.
Cost Javi a win.
Yep.
So now 3-1. Looks like a little slider. 3-2. Haven't really seen the curveball yet tonight. That's what Wirth is so far against the Braves. Off the end of the bat, Kochman to his right, and Vasquez gets over. 2 down now.
Not an easy play. That ball was squibbed off the end and had a lot of spin on it.
But with a 3-2 slider there, folks. Thursday, July 16th, it's Braves player card deck giveaway presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and the Braves take on the New York Mets. First 5,000 fans receive a Braves player deck of cards. For tickets, visit Braves.com/tickets or 800-745-3000. So now, is that like playing cards?
I think so.
So who's the Joker?
Diaz, maybe. Hudson.
I might go Peter Moylan.
Moylan would be a good choice. Yeah, Moylan or Hudson.
There's Huddy.
90-pitch effort on the mound today in the bullpen. Getting close for Tim to go out on a rehab assignment. They are projecting July 23rd at Myrtle Beach. Excuse me, July 19th at Myrtle Beach.
That one pop foul in our direction.
Bobby Cox out there to watch. Roger McDowell watching. And Lloyd, the physical therapist, there as well.
I know one thing. Tim's excited. His arms felt good really the entire time.
I wonder if that's because he didn't have a complete tear. Am I right? Am I remembering that right? Or did I misremember?
I'm not sure whether you remembered or misremembered. But as I understand it, that is not a factor.
It's not
in Tommy John surgery when they eventually do it. If you have Tommy John surgery, complete tear, partial tear,
you got to do a transplant.
Yeah. The 3-2. There is, by the way, as it relates to Tim Hudson, a decision to be made in that for next year there is a $12 million club option on him. And, you know, look, it's just the reality. That's a large number to be considering for next year. So, you know, the last 6 weeks of the season or thereabouts when Tim pitches will be interesting to watch as it relates to his future with the Atlanta Braves.
Sure, and you know he wants to earn that money by pitching well down the stretch.
You have Vasquez making 11.5 next year. Hudson would get 12. And Derek Lowe making 15. That's a good chunk of change for 3 of your starters. A line drive towards the right field corner and a fair ball. Francoeur over to get it, and Greg Dobbs with a 2-out double.
First hit for the Phillies, second hit of the series for Dobbs. Guy who's always given the Braves fits coming off the bench, but forced into a starter's role, and a good swing there going down to get a low pitch. Stayed with that one. Raul Ibanez on the disabled list, but I believe he's begun to take some swings, getting ready for his return.
Yeah, he's at Double-A Reading, talking to Tom McCarthy, one of the Phillies broadcasters. And they're hoping sometime early next week. One on Feliz. He has had an excellent year, continues to play top-notch defense, and it's been an above-average offensive year for Pedro Feliz. Pulls off that slider.
He likes to pull the ball. He's a good high fastball hitter, but he likes to yank it. Pitch him away like, as you just saw, that breaking ball. It'll give him some problems.
Vasquez ahead. Javi making start number 17. In now 108 1/3 innings. He's walked 23 and struck out 128.
Phillies are completing their third straight road trip of 10 days. Had some home games mixed in there in between, of course. But of their last 3 road trips, they've all been 10-dayers. Atlanta on this upcoming road trip. It will be their third road trip of 10 days or more out of their last 4.
Climbed the ladder, struck him out. That's 4. Well, the Braves got a long roadie coming up to end the first half, but trying to end the final homestand of the season.
It's just an exciting place to race. You get to go 200 miles an hour at the end of the backstretch.
Atlanta's the best track for having multi-grooves and side-to-side passing.
It's fun to qualify there at night. It's fast, it's fun, sparks are flying. And then when the race comes, you just slip and slide all over the track, and it usually puts on a great show.
Back here at Turner Field as we go to the bottom of the second. Phillies and the Braves, no score. John Sciambi and Joe Simpson. I have no idea what I was trying to say as we went to the break, but something to the effect of the Braves are going on a long road trip before the first half ends. As Escobar slices that one towards the corner. And you know, cruising towards second, he's got a double. That's double number 16. And a good start to the second.
Good return for him to the starting lineup. He got an at-bat last night, pinch hit in the 8th inning and got a little flare single to right. This time hits it hard down the line. Early in this series, Jason Worth was trying real hard with his speed to try to cut balls off down the line about halfway to the fence. I think he's learned his lesson. After a couple of them got by him, just go to the corner and head it off. Receive the double.
Yeah, he boxed one up, I guess, Prado's the other night in the win. Diaz pushes that one. Going to be a tough play and safe at first. Well placed. Diaz, as always, hustling down the line. I don't know if Happ had hung on, whether they would have gotten him or not.
Got to be a base hit. Great job just to get the runner over. Turns out he's going to get a hit out of it anyway. Foot race, even if he catches it cleanly.
He's not getting it.
No. Base hit.
So good idea by Matty D. And they're at the corners with nobody out. And Jeff Francoeur has had a good homestand.
Braves are playing some baseball, Boog. They're doing some little things right. They're advancing runners. And all this hitting is contagious.
Can we make our broadcasting contagious?
Yes. You want me to feed off of you?
I was not taking responsibility. I just meant if we broadcast a really good game, to everybody around us start to speak more eloquently about the game.
No question about that.
Is there more comedy baseball related?
for instance. As soon as he got that bunt down, I heard through my microphone Allie behind us saying, that'll be a good spot here for Frank Brewer, for Fritchie to step up there and get the sac fly. Put the Braves on top. 1-0, get an early run.
Right.
Team feels better. They loosen up a little bit. I heard her say that.
Yeah. The 1-2. Bust him inside. Frank Brewer backs away. No score. We're in the second. John Sciambi and Joe Simpson. Good eye.
He's had some very good at-bats on this homestand. He says he's feeling more confident. He's feeling good at the plate. He's at .294 in this homestand with a homer.
Escobar is at third. Diaz is at first. But it's pretty obvious when Jeff is selective, it helps the at-bat because it makes the pitcher think, okay, I can't drop something out of the strike zone that much because he won't chase. Came right after him, and he foul tipped it into the mid of Ruiz, one away.
Let's take a look at the pitch and see if it was a strike, and it was. A little late on it. And late it looked like because he was trying to make sure he put the ball in play to get that runner in.
Casey Kochman just getting a piece of that one. Interesting that he's hitting in the 8th spot, and a guy, I'm sure it's not his preference. I don't think it's anybody's preference, but I think a guy suited to handle it, if you were to make a list of guys, knows the strike zone well.
Has to be smart when he's up there in these situations because of the pitcher hitting behind him, but he's also smart. He could hit second. He's a guy who handles the bat well enough. He could bat second and hit behind runners and move them up. I look for him to get that guy in and avoid a double play here, even with a left-handed pitcher out there. Gotta know what's going through his head, though, right? Vasquez, first, third, nobody out. Let's get some run,
please. Yeah, Javi's probably standing there saying, "I'm going to swing hard, go for the downs, and see if I can come up with the grand slam." Only 2 now on Kochman. Jay Happ, we mentioned, 26 years old. He picked up his first big league win against the Braves. A September start last year, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs. And starting in place of Antonio Bastardo. Just off the outside edge, 2-2.
Like you said, he's got good knowledge of the strike zone. Hanging out over the plate, he had a good look at that one. It was outside.
See what Happ goes with here. Runners at first and third. Laid off. Check swing now, an appeal. So it's filled up. Good at bat right here.
Excellent at bat. Fell behind a ball and 2 strikes, and he's laid off a pitch a little bit outside, and here he lays off one a little high and away. And even with the pitcher coming up next, Happ doesn't want to load him up, so chances are good he's going to get a pitch to hit here. Struck out Francoeur with a decent fastball. He tries that with Casey.
Payoff pitch now. That's whacked foul. Braves 12th in the league in runs scored, 12th in homers, 9th in on base, 14th in slugging. Bobby Cox has seen the offense come to life the last few games. Chipper and company have delivered in spots like this. Ball 4, and they're loaded. So Casey aboard, and the base is all loaded up for Javier Vasquez.
Javi's been a career 200 hitter. It hasn't worked out that way this year. 2 for 29, but he could help himself. Look at Brian Snitker there.
See if anything's on. Well, Javi's just going to have to deliver himself.
Pedro Feliz, third base, listening in to hear what Snitker tells Escobar in case there's a squeeze on.
One and two.
It's kind of funny. Third baseman can stand there and listen, but usually they don't stand quite so close as Feliz has been to Escobar, even leaning. 2 strikes. He's going to back off this time. He doesn't expect a squeeze to be on now.
Escobar, Diaz, and Kochman the runners. Vasquez in a 1-2 hole. Javi gets a piece and slices it out of play. Mets won earlier today 9-8. Mets in Pittsburgh.
K-Rod blew a save in the 9th and won it in the 10th.
Mets are a beat up bunch. Javi hanging in there.
Another thing on the scouting report on Happ was that he's a guy who, despite his good work against Toronto, is a guy who can throw 100 pitches in 5 innings because of so many deep counts too.
There's our old friend Bruce Benedict. Right there in the middle in the green cap. The 1-2. Chased after that. I think Javi's saying he got a piece of that. And Mike Everett is saying, no, you didn't. Thanks for coming. So 2 away now.
I don't know. That was hard to tell there.
Well, 2 down now with the bases loaded. A scoreless game, and Blanco playing for Nate McLouth, who's still nursing that hamstring strain. Gregor grounded to second his first time up.
The way Gregor has played has given Bobby the luxury of not having to run McLouth back out there before he's ready. Even if Nate was ready to go tonight, it gives him an extra day because he and Blanco and Prado have had a good thing going at the top of the order. Why mess with it?
Nate is hiding. Happ ready to go. 0-1 to Blanco. Heard you talking about it last night with Chip. Just the idea how Blanco, I mean, he made the choice, but he kind of got behind the 8 ball by going to play in the World Baseball Classic. And so his period of time to have an opportunity to grab a job was really limited. Probably wasn't a great decision by him.
Probably not. He wanted to play for his country and became, as I said last night, kind of the invisible man in the 3-man race for the job in center field.
Yeah, eventually Schaefer won the job. Josh Anderson was dealt away to Detroit.
Gregor, one of the problems he had last year was that he struck out too much, and he was constantly trying to fight that and improve on cutting down on his strikeouts. In his starts in this series, he's done a great job of getting to some good hitters' counts, even though he fell behind here.
That looked like he was sitting on something else and then got fastball for a strike and felt like he had to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Gregor choking up on that bat. Ground ball to short that Rollins gobbles up, and the Braves can't do anything. 2 aboard and nobody out, loaded and 1 out, and no runs come across. Same old story for Javier Vasquez. Atlanta gunning for the sweep. The VCast Music with Rhapsody. Know Your Music ending is from Verizon Wireless. What Braves player enjoys listening to Jack Johnson on his wireless phone? Stick around, we'll tell you in the bottom of the 3rd. You familiar with Jack Johnson at all?
Just the old boxer.
Okay.
Not the singer. Can you help me out?
I'm a fan, a surfer guy from Hawaii who just kind of one of those singer-songwriters, does the acoustic guitar thing, and got a pleasant sound to him. So maybe we'll think surfer dude.
Yeah.
Carlos Ruiz up here. And Vasquez misses with the first 2 to fall behind. Braves team ERA 3.84, 3rd best in the National League. Starters ERA 3.75, 3rd best in the NL. So I mean, again, talk about what Frank Wren did in the offseason. He aimed to improve the starting pitching and thought that would be the anchor. He did, and it is. Got him to chase there. I think there's a tendency, I've had more than one person make this mistake, to think the Braves signed Javier Vasquez as a free agent and forget that the Braves got him in a trade, and it's turned out to be a pretty good trade. Line drive, caught out of the air by Yunel Escobar. And there's one down here in the third. The trade, December 4th of 08. Braves got Boone Logan and Vasquez in exchange for Brent Lillibridge, Tyler Flowers, John Gilmore, and Santos Rodriguez. I think Flowers, from the White Sox perspective, is probably the main guy. So we'll see what ends up happening with Tyler Flowers. But Frank, deserves some credit for a deal that made an immediate impact on this team.
I would say arguably the best deal of the winter by anybody. Find someone else that made a deal that's had as big an impact on their team as Javi's had on this one.
Yeah.
Not talking about free agent signings, but trades.
Happ lifts that one to left. Diaz over there, foul ground, and Matty puts it away.
From the free agent standpoint, the Braves reportedly, and I think confirmed later on, we're trying to get Jake Beebe, trying to make a deal for him. Couldn't get the pieces put together to satisfy San Diego. Then thought they had a deal with A.J. Burnett on the free agency market. That didn't work out. And we're able to nail down the deal with Derek Lowe. And that's turned out to be a terrific signing.
By the way, have you noticed D. Lowe has pitched so well? I think that those handful of starts he hasn't pitched well have kind of skewed his numbers because he's been pretty consistent. Rollins rolls that one through the right side, and a base hit for Jimmy Rollins. And I don't believe he was using Chipper Jones' bat in that spot. No.
That actually looked like it had an 8 on the bat, which would be Shane Victorino's bat. But it finds a hole. His first hit of the series, and snaps an 0 for 28, the longest drought of his career. I would say a good thought to keep him close, because he's antsy to see if he can swipe one as soon as he gets over there.
Yeah, antsy to make an impact. Rollins in his career has been an excellent percentage base stealer. He and Carlos Beltran over the last 5 years have been, just magnificent. And of course, the Braves have the king in that department in Nate McLeod. That one up the middle, gloved by Yunel, and that's the inning.
That was almost the fourth pitcher that Victorino's hit in this series.
Unbelievable. The Atlanta Braves on Sports South are brought to you in part by your local Ford dealers, by Wendy's, by Texaco, by the Georgia Lottery, by Dodge, and by AirTran Airways. Home half of inning number 3. And no score. 2-3-4, Prado, Jones, and McCann. As Martin starts things off. Grounded to second his first time. Hey, let's play.
Nobody on, nobody out. First pitch of the inning. Oh, that's right. One is a fastball.
Martin Prado, been a valuable member of this team this year. I mean, he's in the middle of it offensively of late, but the versatility, the ability to play first base, to play third, he could play short. You could put him in the corner outfield spots as well if you need to. It's a big help for a manager. That one ripped to right. Long run, Worth over there. He'll pick it up on a bounce. Prado racing for second and dives in with a double. Stay hot, Martin Prado.
Could you dive very well? Are you a good diver into the bag? Watch this. This is like textbook diving into second base. Okay, yeah, I got another double, too. Good swing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I mean, he went about 15 feet and just came up with the back foot still propped on the bag. I mean, that's just beautiful.
I mean, look, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but, you know, we got an off day on Monday in Chicago, and if you want to get the slip and slide out on Michigan Ave,
yeah,
we'll get after it.
Okay, right there at the Hancock Center would be a good idea, right there in the beside the Cheesecake Factory.
Chipper pops this one up shallow right, Worth in, and he's got it. Chipper retired. And here it's the VCast music with Rhapsody. Know your music. Getting from Verizon Wireless. Earlier we asked you what Braves player listens to Jack Johnson on his wireless phone. How about our answer, please?
Chris Medlin.
Oh, Tim Hudson. And I got to tell you, Tim Hudson looks a little bit like Jack Johnson, I would say.
Does
a little
he?
bit, yeah.
Huh.
Visit VerizonWireless.com/music today to find out more about VCast music with Rhapsody.
Well, let's not forget the Braves got a leadoff double last inning and had all kinds of base runners and didn't score. Let's hope the same doesn't happen again. Last night they were 6 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
McCann skies this one right field. Worth has it. Prado will take a step, and the throw quickly back in. And after the double, 2 are out, and it'll be left up to Yunel Escobar to cash in the chance.
I don't know if that was deep enough to get a guy in from third base, but the fact remains Chipper was a guy that failed to get the job done this inning in moving that runner over to third. That might have set up a possible score there on a fly ball.
So Yunel the double to right his first time. 4-12 with men in scoring position, and even better with 2 outs in that spot. This is only the second start he's had in the last 7 games, and his first since June 25th.
Team is actually third in hitting with runners in scoring position, which is a huge shock when you consider they were 0 for 27 in the Boston series.
That's my thing. If I were to underline what I like the most about the sabermetric stuff, your eyes can lie to you sometimes. And I think it's good to check, because I certainly wouldn't think at times that this is a good situational hitting team, but they have been for the most part. Little tapper, Happ. And that one low, but dug out by Howard. Right here, though, Joe, I'm certain, bad situational hitting by the Braves.
You're on top of it.
We'll go to the fourth. John Sciambi and Joe Simpson, your spectacular broadcasters. And there's Ryan Howard. And there's the Duck. Let's do some trivia, shall we? Who's the only visiting player with more home runs at Turner Field since 2005 than Ryan Howard's 9?
05. Barry Bonds was still playing in 05 and 06. Albert Pujols, maybe? He didn't play much here.
Anybody on the Mets? I want to go division. That's where I want to go. Mets or Marlins?
I don't want to go Beltran.
You do?
I kind of do.
Okay. Little check swing roller. Chipper charges in, unloads in time. Nice play.
He was thinking about barehanding that ball and changed his mind at the last second, I'll bet you. Because he was getting his body in a position here to pick it up barehanded and then thought better of it. I think it was hit a little harder than he thought. Watch him, Boog, and see if you think the same thing here. See how his left leg was kind of coming around like he was going to get lower?
I agree. I think it was probably 2 steps before he fielded it. I felt like the right arm dragged down the way he normally does it.
Made the good choice, though.
And now Chipper all by his lonesome on the left side. Martin Prado playing free safety. Woo!
Yeah, baby.
I think that's the first curveball of the night. I may be wrong, but on pitch number 50.
69-mile-an-hour beauty.
Ryan Howard signed that 3-year, $54 million deal this past offseason. So they've got him locked up. We showed you earlier Jimmy Rollins in his first AB using a Chipper Jones bat. Rollins told me that at times he'll use Ryan Howard's bat, which is amazing.
And I'm sure it's a log too.
Out over
Chino. Gosh, that hit.
I think that got snipped.
Brian Snitker.
Kind of fisted out into left center field. Diaz will go over and pick it up, and a 1-out base runner. Well, time now for a money and energy saving bright idea from Georgia Power. Set your thermostat to 78 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. Go to GeorgiaPower.com for more energy saving tips. Georgia Power, Southern Company.
That was a good pitch by Vasquez. It didn't have a good result.
I thought you were going to say that's a good tip.
78-degree thermostat tip will get you some good results. Ryan Howard, thinking about all that off-speed stuff, was dead set on that. He was going to wait and wait and wait, and then jammed himself.
Always like the bent arm swing if you're the pitcher from the big guy, right?
Yep.
This guy, it's interesting the connection, how the Phillies got their hands on him. He was non-tendered by, I believe, the Dodgers after some wrist problems, but he was drafted in the first round by the Orioles in '97 when Pat Gillick was the general manager. And so Gillick, familiar with him, decided to take a flyer on him. And remember, they signed Jeff Jenkins to play before the start of last year. They ended up releasing Jeff Jenkins before the start of this year to the tune of $8 million. So Worth beat him out.
Coming off a great year last year where he won the job, hitting .273, 24 homers, stole 20 bases and only got caught once. Has a very good throwing arm that you've seen already. And seeing him today in their clubhouse and just saying hello. I talked to him last year during the playoffs and was near him around the batting cage. He's listed at 6'5". I would swear he's taller than that. He is a big guy.
Yeah.
Listed at 212 in their book. I would say he's more like at least 6'6", about 220.
Real good player, though. Those wrist problems, and we talked about in the past, he wears that big brace or pad on his left wrist. There it is. Thanks for helping out.
His mom, the daughter of Dick Schofield, who played Major League Baseball for years. His uncle was Dick Schofield Jr., who played in the big leagues for a long time. And his stepfather, Dennis Worth, played a lot of pro ball. I'm not sure he played in the big leagues, but I know he played in AAA in the Yankees organization because I played against him. So he's had a lot of, and his mom was a terrific athlete. I think in an Olympic event, I want to say a running event, she was an Olympic qualifier.
Slow breaking ball lifted towards left center. Diaz cuts across. You can't understate the athletic talent that the moms provide at times. There are plenty of guys who have big league talent, and the athleticism doesn't just come from the dads, the moms too.
Oh, my kid's a prime example.
Come on now. Here's Greg Dobbs.
This is a guy who I think is one of the best left-handed pinch hitters in the game. Very dangerous coming up in any situation. But he also makes me wonder if that's where he should just be and not be an everyday guy, not be even a 3-day-a-week type player, platoon type guy. There are some guys who are just born to pinch hit, certainly have a knack for it, and then you see them for 2 or 3 days in a row and you find out right away where their holes are in their swing, where their weaknesses are, and you exploit them.
He swings a lot. He's a very aggressive hitter. Slider is a strike. I mean, this year, he's hitting only .238. But this is pretty standard for him. 79 at bats into tonight. He's walked 7 times. But the .286 pinch hitting mark for the career is, I mean, that's amazing.
I was looking up his numbers a little bit earlier to see what he did against Atlanta last year, and most of that, if not all of it, was as a pinch hitter. And he was 6 for 14 with a homer and 3 RBIs. That double his first time up tonight makes him 3 for 13 against Atlanta this year.
We gave you what he is in his career, .286. These numbers usually don't change. If you're wondering, the National League batting average for a pinch hitter is .222. So .286 career, he's proficient at a job that is really tough as you look at Milt Thompson, their hitting coach.
And some guys have a knack for it.
There goes a runner and a bouncer towards the hole. Kochman. Vasquez over. Nicely done. Casey Kochman has been perfect as a Brave. Has not made an error since coming over in the Teixeira deal and showing off great range. A fine play and helped out by the pitcher on the other end. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah. What are you eating? We go to the bottom of the fourth. How you doing? No, over here. Over here. There you go. No score. Matt Diaz will stand in. Diaz, Francoeur, and Kochman. And Matt takes ball one. Nice bunt single his first time up.
He has the only hit with a runner in scoring position tonight. It was a bunt.
Matt is 7 for 12 against the Phillies this year with a double and 2 homers. So 2 of his 4 home runs against Philadelphia. And the Phillies leading the majors in home runs allowed. That one ripped and another base hit. So make Diaz 8 for 13 against the Phillies.
He got a base hit last night, Boog, on a ball hit virtually the same place to center field. But I swear it looked like he was swinging at a piñata. The ball was at least shoulder high, and he was just kind of tomahawking at it. This one was pretty high, too. Nice level swing, though. 2 for 2 tonight.
Stop by Ruiz. Ball one to Jeff Francoeur. Struck out swinging. Good fastball his first time.
I just got that feeling. I don't need more cowbell, but I just got a feeling that Jeff's going to atone for that right here.
Okay.
Good cut. Had a little bee problem tonight in San Diego. They were finishing up their series with Houston. They had to stop the game because a swarm of bees had invaded the left field corner. Wow.
So actually on the field, bees bothering players and fans. Shallow right, Utley out, Worth. Wow, that could have been dangerous right there. Because Chase Utley is solid. He is put together. I would say he would lose on the receiving end of that collision.
Must have been where my feeling was. I was trying to get one of the Phillies players hurt. Nice play by Worth to peel off at the last second. It was kind of a late call there that he threw his hands up, and if the outfielder's calling for it, that's not a smart thing to do if you're the infielder. But it worked out all right.
So 1 down, and it's Casey Kochman who worked a walk his first time up. Who started his career in the Angels organization. His dad, Tom, is still a minor league manager and scout for the Angels. That ball is hammered. Right field, forget it. Out of here. That was clobbered. Casey Kochman gets into one, and it's 2-0. A no-doubter.
My feeling was a little premature. He hit that into the terrace level, folks. Nice home run allowed by Don't Worry, Be Happy. I mean, he got it all.
Oh.
Above the walkway, and in the front row up there, dropped it.
Vasquez to right center, and Victorino glides over to make the play. That was a bomb, Joe.
Stayed on his back leg and just launched it.
Up Oh, there's the duck. We got to answer the question. Who's the only visiting player with more homers at Turner Field since 2005 than Ryan Howard's 9?
I'm going Beltran.
I'm choking. Dan Uglow.
There's probably about 7 playoff homers hit in there too. That year with Houston, he was on quite a roll.
Yeah, at the time set the mark. 8 postseason home runs with the Astros.
That was our first opportunity to see him on a semi-regular basis. You'd heard what a good player he was in Kansas City, but played in anonymity over there. I'm so proud at the end of this homestand that I said that without stuttering.
Anonymity?
Yes. But once we got to see him on a semi-regular basis and then in the playoffs, you came to realize what a special player he was and how sad it was that Kansas City had to do something to move him, knowing he was going to become a free agent.
Well, think about some of the outfielders that have gone through there. Damon, Beltran, and of course Jermaine Dye, remember, was there.
Braves got Keith Lockhart and
Michael Tucker.
Yep. In the Jermaine Dye deal.
Blanco down on strikes. And Happ records his 4th punch up. But Casey Kochman records his 3rd homer of the season, a biggie. Braves lead it 2-0. Our Blimpie game summary as we go to the 5th. 2-0. Casey Kochman with a walk and a 2-run homer, and Javier Vasquez, his usual outstanding self. Pitch to Feliz, misses a bit. You were talking about that swarm of bees that caused a 52-minute delay in that game out in San Diego. We were just looking at video of it again. They actually had to call a beekeeper. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and guess most teams don't employ a beekeeper.
Not on staff.
No. Probably have one on retainer would be my guess. Oh, Gary Lehman. Kochman, nicely done. As a defender, I'd say Casey Kochman is the bee's knees. The Greg Maddux Hall of Fame induction ceremony and luncheon Friday, July 17th, has been moved to the Omni Hotel to accommodate the high demand. Tickets available right now, calling 404-614-2310, 404-614-2310 to see Greg Maddux in the Hall of Fame ceremony and luncheon.
See, the Braves are so sly when they give you those phone numbers. The last 4 digits, 2310.
Nice.
Greg Maddox's number, 31, will be retired that night at the game, prior to the game against the Mets.
And eventually 47 and 29 will be joining him as well.
And 6 and 10.
Here, here.
What do you think about 25?
I don't think he well,
I think he'll most
eventually
definitely be in the
he
Hall
will.
of Fame.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll have his number retired.
There's that curveball. He dropped down, struck him out. And there's 2 away. And Javier Vasquez has struck out 5 now.
First one since he struck out Feliz in the 2nd inning. Slow curve, had him way out in front. Ruiz has had a rough time of it too. He's just 4 for his last 27. Had a bad month of June. $174.
I was trying to figure out what the organist was playing for Jay Happ, and then it hit me. Happy Days.
Like Sunday, Monday, Happy Days.
Yeah.
Oh, happy day. Remember that song?
I mean, like,
oh, happy day.
I can't help you. I know the TV show theme song.
Yeah. The Edwin something experience, I think. Saying that? Well, we'll have to look it up.
On a bounce. Look out, Martin Prado. Wow, that was scorched, and that is Jay Happ's first big league hit. He had been 0 for 20.
He certainly earned this one. It was a one-hop dart. Our team did his best to try to defend himself. So Jay's Happ.
Ball one to Jimmy Rollins, who is 1 out of 2.
Truck's telling me it was the Edwin Hawkins Singers. Oh, happy day.
Okay. Went into Starbucks today, and I've got Spurs that Jingle Jangle Jingle was playing in there.
You thought you were getting
I thought I was being punked. I looked over the little pastry counter there just to see if you were going to pop out and do a gotcha. Vasquez ready. And misses off the outside edge. Now 3-1 to Jimmy Rollins, who snapped that 0 for 28 with a single as last time.
He's got the lead now, but it hasn't been easy for Javi. He's only had one 3-up and 3-down inning, and that was the first. He's up to 82 pitches.
Center field, Blanco coming on. It'll fall for a hit. So after 2 outs, a single by the pitcher, a single by Rollins, and it'll bring up Victorino.
Changeup might have even been out off the plate, and Rollins hit it off the end of the bat in front of Blanco. Not a bad pitch again by the pitcher. Just not good results. Very similar to the one that dropped in off Howard's bat.
Victorino 0 for 2. Gets right on top of the plate, as Joe mentioned, and takes a fastball through there.
He's quick inside. He wants the ball in. He prefers the ball down and in left-handed.
Good pitch right there. Had him chasing.
Such a great motion and delivery, arm action on that. But very tough for the hitter to pick that up.
Up the middle, diving grab by Escobar. It hung in the air. Unell laid out and stole a hit, and a run from the Phillies. Just tried to scoop that one into center field, and Unell able to make the play. Braves lead it 2-0. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th in Atlanta. Best average in the majors since June 1st. Ichiro Suzuki leads it, but Martin Prado is pretty good company right there. He is number 6.
Have several guys that are accustomed to being at the top of the batting average tote board on a daily basis. And Suzuki.
Saw a great quote from Ichiro in the Seattle paper. He was asked if he is more locked in at the plate than ever, and his response was, "It is impossible to prove that. Please analyze it amongst yourselves. I cannot." Discuss amongst yourselves.
That's funny.
I like it. It's a ridiculous question, and it is the type of questions, I'll admit, that we can sometimes be prone to, trying to see into guys' souls. Are you more locked in? Well, what does that mean? Locked in, you know?
I heard a couple of funny lines that somebody told me the other day that were asked of Norm Van Brocklin when he was the coach of the Falcons. And one of them, they asked him something about, what do you want, if you weren't a coach, what would you want to come back as? And he said, a sports writer. And they were all bumfuzzled. Why? And he said, well, you get to watch a ball game when you work, and there's a lot of brain that's never been used.
Worth puts the squeeze on that. Prado is out. J-Happ trailing tonight. Had a great start his last time out on the road. Our Firestone leaderboards lowest road ERA since 2008, and it is J-Happ up top. Randy Wells number 2. Tim Lincecum would be on our Firestone leaderboards for lowest ERA in a phone booth, pitching on a Sunday on the road. All right, now I know he's a future Hall of Famer, but Uncle had swinging on the first pitch or swinging so early in the count, you know?
The last 2 pitches have been similar to a couple where he flied out to right on the last road trip, and he said he shanked them.
Right.
I thought it was a great description. Not necessarily good pitches to hit.
3 plate appearances tonight for Chipper. He's seen 5 pitches. I just think that the good hitters command the strike zone the way the pitchers do. And I think he has the ability to do that. McCann puts a charge into this one. Deep right field, but Worth has room and squeezes that. And that's the inning. The Braves go 1-2-3 for the first time tonight. And they'll take a 2-0 lead to the 6th.
Vasquez tonight, 5 innings, a 5-hit shutout ball, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. Victorino goes down swinging in the first. Utley finished the first with a strikeout. Howard started the second with a strikeout. Good changeup, good curveball tonight. And faces the heart of the order here in the 6th.
3, 4, 5, Utley, Howard, and Worth. And Utley 0 for 2.
For Javi Vasquez, his first 16 starts, he's been over 90 pitches, 14 of those 16. His high is 120, but most of them have been around 100 to 110 all year long, and he's at 87 right now.
So hopefully they can squeeze a couple more innings out of Javier Vasquez here tonight.
Think about that, though. For the amount of strikeouts he has, that doesn't seem like a lot of pitches through the course of a game. Granted, he's not going 9 every night, but a good ratio of strikes to balls.
I saw a study done once on the idea, do strikeout pitchers throw that many more pitches on average than sinker ball guys or non-strikeout pitchers, and they took a sampling of the elite. The determination was essentially it's not as many more pitches as you'd think, whatever that means, that it would only be maybe 2 more an inning.
Huh. That does surprise me.
That curve again, and it's inside. By the way, it won't be officially announced till tomorrow, but congratulations to Tommy Hanson, who has been named National League Rookie of the Month.
Great. I voted for him.
Working on a scoreless inning streak of what, over 20 innings. 2-2 now. Looked like it backed up just a little bit. Curveball at 67.
Yeah, he wanted this call too and didn't get it, and I'm not sure that it had the plate, at least from our angle there. Brian's glove has to go out and get it. Close though. Good try. He's done a good job tonight of keeping leadoff men off base. No one's reached.
Talked about what type of player Chase Utley is, kind of a dirt dog player, and Charlie Manuel talking about him. Chase is a very, very tough player. I've been in the game a long time, and he's as tough as any player I've seen. I'm talking about old throwback players, guys like Pete Rose and Kirby Puckett. You could put Utley in that category. That's a pretty good compliment.
That's a great compliment.
We talked about the idea of scrappy. We use that phrase.
Right.
And I think that it's a way to describe usually a player that is smaller or smallish in combination with a style of play. If there was one great player that you would describe as scrappy, he might be one of them.
You asked me if he was scrappy when we brought it up. We were talking about Matt Diaz.
Base hit right field.
And you said, would you put Chase Utley in that category? And I believe I said no, because he's a good player. And to me, a scrappy guy is a guy who's a little short on talent, but gives you 190%.
Craig Counsell.
Yeah. Vasquez, last 6 starts since May 30th. 8 walks and 52 strikeouts. And a 1.9 ERA coming into the start that is now lower than that.
and swings through this one. Joe Ryan Howard, as per usual, up there in the top 10 in RBIs. He's got 60. Take a look at this. Since 2006, leads the majors most plate appearances with runners on base and leads the majors in RBIs. It's a good example of where RBIs, it's a dependent statistic. You got to have guys on. So I'm not saying he hasn't done a good job, but he's had the most guys or the most plate appearances of the people on base.
And no surprise that he's had the most appearances with guys on base because of Jimmy Rollins, Shane Victorino, Chase Utley hitting in front of him.
Big time. All kind of works hand in hand, right?
And fast guys, too, that can score on a double first.
That's a good point.
A good off-speed pitch. Remember, struck him out on a changeup swinging in the second, and then Ryan was hanging all over the plate in the fourth inning, kind of jammed himself and fought one off into left center for a base hit. To try to backdoor the slider.
Javi at 98 pitches now. So I would say the 7th is looking less likely at the moment.
Unless he can get a double play here, that would help.
Climb the ladder on him and it worked. Chipper on the overshift gives way. Diaz makes the grab. Chase Utley had a tough spot there because Chipper peeled off early. Diaz for a second gave the indication he may not have seen it, and so Utley was kind of pitter-patting out there, just making sure it didn't fall, and yet they would still get the force.
You know, I appreciate your efforts to ingratiate yourself into the South, and you do it in such subtle ways, and I don't know if anybody else picked up on that, but I did. Okay? Once in a while you say you're fixing to do something. I think that's great. But now you're mixing in a little Gone with the Wind, like Pitter Pat. I was thinking Miss Pitty Pat. And, you know, people are beginning to welcome you to the South because of your knowledge, vast knowledge of things that are Southern.
Vast knowledge of things that are Southern.
And Pitty Pat.
Utley over there at first, small lead, 1-1 the count, and that pitch is low. I've probably seen that movie, I would say twice, 3 times maybe. I knew exactly where you were going.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dropped down a little bit. Good heater, 2-2.
As much as we brag on Javi's ability to strike out hitters with his changeup, his curveball, his slider, it all works off his fastball because the hitter has to honor the fact that he can throw the ball right by you at any given moment.
Yeah, he just dropped down at 93 to Jason Worth. Defensive swing there, and Worth slashes it out of play and remains even up. The righty and the lefty up. McCann out for the chat. Braves lead it 2-0. Only 2 runs in the game on a Casey Kochman no doubter, a 2-run homer. That one in the 4th. And an extended meeting out there. Mike Everett saying, come on, let's go.
Yeah, a little strategy going on here with a dangerous hitter. They'd love to get a ground ball. Not so much about what do we do to stay away from his power, but how can we get him to hit the ball on the ground here? Maybe the slider. Fastball.
There are just so many things he could potentially be throwing at you, looking at it from a hitter's perspective. 2-2, he could come at you with the change, the big curve. He could go upstairs again with the heater.
They're giving Worth left center field, playing him a little bit toward right. That would indicate they might keep pitching him away.
And that's punched foul.
Good at bat here for Worth, especially on that curveball there, fighting it off.
Yeah, this is a tough lineup, and Rollins has slumped most of the year. They're without Ibanez right now, and when Jimmy gets going, and my guess is he probably will at some point, and they get Ibanez back, the lineup's even deeper. Runner goes. 2-2 is whacked foul down the right side.
Got to keep your eye on Utley too. This team set a record a couple of years ago for best stolen base percentage, and they're at 80% this year. That leads the league. And Utley a perfect 7 for 7.
2007, they were caught 19 times as a team, 88%, stealing 138 bases, and that is the best rate in big league history.
Ninth pitch of the at bat here.
Inside, and it hit him. It just got away from him, and you could see Vasquez looking up at the sky like, oh, why did I do that?
Must have hit Worth in either the elbow or a tender spot, because it took him to his knees. He had a little hard time getting up. May have knocked the wind out of him. Right between the 2 and the 8, it looked like.
The other thing too, and I was not aware of this, but as Javi looked up to the sky after hitting him, you saw him messing with his mouthpiece. I didn't even realize he was wearing a mouthpiece.
I didn't either.
And I feel like you see it more and more nowadays, where guys just happen to be fidgeting with one. Jeter was wearing one with the Yankees. Mike Gonzalez wears one. I know Matt Diaz was wearing one for a time.
Well, if you can keep from clenching your teeth and tightening the jaw muscles, which tightens up the neck and the rest of your body, then more power to them.
In the air, center field, well hit. Blanco back some more, and he lost it. Now it's off the wall. Relay in. Utley to the plate. Throw there. Tag. Safe. McCann couldn't hold the ball. And the Phillies on the board as Worth stopped at third. He was right on Utley's heels.
Great job by Sam Perlazo to separate the runners. Gregor Blanco lost it in the twilight, made a good play and a good relay, and the throw looked like it got there at the same time as the runner, and it was a short hop. Brian couldn't hang on to it. There are the runners back to back. Now watch Perlazo at third base. He sends one, but he's telling Jason, you got to stop. That'll do it for Javi Vasquez.
So Javi gets a nice hand. He is done for the night right now, in line for the win. 2-1 Braves lead. Braves leading 2-1. Get out the BlackBerry. Time to make our AT&T call to the bullpen. And a little ringy-dingy to Peter Moylan.
Pitched here in the opening game of this series and came in a tight spot in the 10th. Had a couple of guys on base. Actually had one guy on base representing the go-ahead run, but he got a terrific double play turn behind him, started by Chipper Jones on a diving stop. And he wound up getting the win as a result. That hit batsman, the one thing that's probably sitting in the craw right now of Javi Vasquez.
Moylan drops in a breaking ball for strike one to Pedro Feliz. Worth at third. And Dobbs out there at second. A 2-1 game with one out here in the sixth. One of the things we've seen with Peter Moylan, the velocity has slowly been getting better. That last fastball at 92. And remember, when he was healthy and throwing the ball well, I'd say it got up there as high as 94 or so.
Yeah, he's feeling better every time out.
Bouncer to short. Escobar will pick it up and throw him out. Run scores, and it's a 2-2 game. And on the play, Dobbs down to third.
That means that Javi Vasquez can't win it. He can only lose it. Gets his 40th RBI. Not bad for a guy that bats down in the 6th or 7th spot in their order all the time.
Carlos Ruiz is 0 for 2. We're tied at 2 here in the 6th. John Shambi, Joe Simpson with you. Thanks for joining us here on Sports South. After this one, it is off to Washington, a weekend series in our nation's capital. Kawakami and Detweiler tomorrow night. Hansen and Lannon on Saturday, and then Lowe and Olsen on Sunday. Go ahead run 90 feet away. Ball and a strike. That just missed. That's Greg Dobbs who doubled.
Just a breaking ball earlier in the count. Maybe he will again.
Outside edge now 3-1. Happ is in the on deck circle. There's a strike.
Good pitch.
Pretty good crowd here tonight.
Had good crowds the whole homestand. Fans enjoying some good baseball too. I think by far a better crowd tonight than last night. Last night 25,000 plus. And the Braves having some fireworks after the game too.
Right side for Prado, collects that, throws him out, in and over. But the Phillies pick up 2 to tie this one up. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, a 2-2 game.
freeze cam and the train. Good play by Janelle Escobar to end the 5th inning with runners aboard. Made this diving catch to save a possible run, and in the inning, laid out and snagged it in his first start back to the lineup in several days. That's Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And on this Independence Day weekend, a little more, more special meaning with the hometown hero. There he is, Staff Sergeant Tim Harris, who was honored out on the field. And what was really touching, Boog, was a lot of the Phillies players, even Jay Happ, didn't start his warm-up tosses. He had his glove off and was applauding too. That was pretty cool. Good stuff. We appreciate all of our servicemen and women and what they do for us.
Very much so.
What a great night too before the ball game with that American flag in the shape of the United States that was stretched from left center to right center.
That was cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So here we go, bottom of the 6th, a 2-2 game. Bills have out hit the Braves 7-6. Happ back to work. Ball 1 to Escobar, who's doubled and tapped back to the pitcher.
Happ's only at 75 pitches. Season high is 112.
That one bunted right back at Happ. 1 up and 1 down. So, folks, in People's All-Stars Among Us campaign, 3 finalists from each Major League team were nominated for their charitable efforts. Today, we congratulate Ryan Housley from Tyrone, Georgia. As the Braves winner, Ryan helped create supply packages for our soldiers overseas. Ryan will be honored during ceremonies before the All-Star Game July 14th, seen only on Fox. So congratulations to Ryan. All 30 big league teams will be represented at the Midsummer Classic.
Braves had 3 outstanding nominees too.
Have you been to the All-Star Game?
Yes. When I was playing in Seattle, they hosted it there, I think, in 1979, and I went to the game. It's the only one I've been to that I can recall. And I think I came to the one here. Pretty sure I came to the one here too, in 97 or 8.
Here, I think it wasn't it 2001? 2000?
2000.
We've got it surrounded.
It was all around it. Braves put on a good show that night, hosting it. Wayne Long and his staff did a great job for that.
Good at bat here from Matt Diaz. 3-2 with 1 out. The base is empty. Matt's had a good night as Happ rubs up the baseball. Third base, Feliz picks it up. Big target over there at first, and Ryan Howard 2 away.
Yeah, nice to have a guy that's 6'4" who can use the base to tiptoe up on top of it if he needs to get a high throw. Ryan's defense has really improved. Made more errors than any other first baseman last year, but he's cut down on them this year. There's 4.
I don't know that there's a direct correlation, but the place I would go is, I mean, he came to camp 25 pounds lighter. You'd have to think that that'd be something that would help in terms of the defense.
I believe he made 19 last year. Nice guy, very approachable. Talk hitting with you. We've talked about how he has hit so well here in Atlanta over the years, and he's from St. Louis, and I'm told that every time he goes back there to play the Cardinals, he just wears them out too.
Yeah, he played his college baseball at Southwest Missouri State, now Missouri State. Happ blows it past him, and another strikeout. He's got 5, and the Braves go in order for the second straight inning. We go to the 7th, tied at 2. Wireless by McDonald's, by Dodge, and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Back here at Turner Field as we go to the 7th, the Braves and the Phillies knotted at 2 apiece. And all season long, Atlanta Braves baseball on Sports South being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price. Peter Moylan continues on the hill, and Jay Happ will hit for himself. Happ, Rollins, Victorino. Good crowd here for this one. Gorgeous night. Braves would love to finish off the homestand with a sweep of the Phillies. You look at this stretch, Joe, they've guaranteed themselves a series win. But, I mean, you rewind and look at going on the road in June, dropping series. Well, let's start dropping series at home to Boston and New York, dropping a series on the road to Boston, on the road to Cincinnati, on the road to Baltimore, splitting with the Pirates, lost the series to the Brewers.
The stretch of games, though, that everybody kept pointing to began in Boston. And it was a 13-game stretch that we kept saying might make or break their season. And that they had to play well just to hold their head above water. And lo and behold, they're 6-6 in the first 12 games. Tonight, Would you call it the rubber game of the 13-game series?
The rubber game of the best of 13.
But they could actually go 7-6 over that stretch, and that'd be pretty good work.
Really good work. Rollins has a couple of hits. Jimmy Rollins went 2 for 3 against Javier Vasquez. When you're struggling like that, my guess is he did not care that he coming in was 8 for 50 in his career against Javier Vasquez.
Just as well that he probably didn't know.
The one thing that he has done is continue to play really good defense. And the Phillies on that left side pretty solid with Rollins and Feliz.
Well, that was what was so odd about their 3-error game in game 1 of this series. They made another error last night. I think widely considered the best fielding infield in the National League, if not all of baseball. But that was something Chip and I talked about, Boog, is that even though he's struggling and sat out for 4 days, they don't have any options there. They can put Eric Bruntlett out there for a few days if they want. And they might have somebody in the minor leagues they could call up, but they got to have his defense in there. Even if they change the spot in the batting order, move him down in the order.
Well, here's the other thing. He's hitting .210, and they're first in the league in runs per game.
Without him, basically.
Towards first, foul ball.
You've heard of like batting 8th and being kind of, or in the American League batting 9th and being a second leadoff man. He's like a second last place hitter who gets to bat first.
Okay.
And then they start.
Right. Yeah, that's what it's been like a bit for Charlie Manuel. I know it's been frustrating, but even still, scoring runs not the problem for the Philadelphia Phillies. Right at Prado, who scoops it up. And a couple of outs for Peter Moylan. Folks, get 2-for-1 lower level Braves tickets for every Wednesday home game with the Braves 2-for-1 Wednesday ticket offer. It's 2 lower level outfield pavilion seats, only $22. Order now at Braves.com/tickets or by calling 800-745-3000. 800-745-3000. And it's 2-for-1 Wednesdays. A great deal to take advantage of. Jake Victorino is 0 for 3.
I'll say this, the Phillies had the Braves well scouted in this homestand. Had Craig Colbert in here, who's their advanced scout, checking them out. They had Gordon Lakey in here just a few days ago, just a few days prior to the Phillies series. He's their director of Major League Scouting. You've also got Benny Looper here right now, and he's an assistant general manager in charge of player personnel. So they've had their share of executives and scouts come through here trying to get ready for this series to get them going again.
Benny Looper, by the way, the uncle of Brewers pitcher Braden Looper. And for a long time, Benny was in the front office with the Mariners. Two and one now to Victorino.
They have a long list of, I'll say, advisors to the general manager. I mentioned Looper. We've also got Scott Profrock, who's an assistant general manager to Ruben Amaro Jr. Chuck Lamar, the former Braves farm directors, an assistant GM. Dallas Green, senior advisor. Pat Gillick, senior advisor. Charlie Kerfeld, the former Brave, assistant general manager.
2-2 now to Victorino. Moylan deals. Check swing. Did he go?
Yes, he did.
And C.B. Buckner says he didn't.
Thought the bat got out there. Yeah, it did. Got out there even with the hands.
The 3-2. That's hit well, right center field, and Victorino's going to run. Bounces off the top of the wall, and he'll put the brakes on at second.
That's discouraging after you think you've got him struck out. And then he drives one into the gap, put himself into scoring position, representing the go-ahead run. Flaherty is ready in the Braves bullpen.
So Moylan departs, and Eric O'Flaherty will come in to face Chase Utley. Powered by Georgia Power, by the Home Depot, by KFC, by Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AT&T, and by Arby's. Well, back here at the ballpark, and time now to fire up the phone. And I'd say we make the AT&T call to the bullpen, shall we?
Got to get that lefty-lefty thing going here. Chase Utley, though, 2 for 5 against Eric O'Flaherty, who's generally speaking tough on left-handers. Start.
Talking to Utley before the game, he had that hip surgery that a couple of different guys have had, including Mike Lowell, and he said the hip is just about there. He said it's not 100%, but hasn't really bothered him this year, and that's a good thing because he had some painful days last year.
Yeah, they didn't even know it. Coaches didn't know it. Teammates might have known it, but they didn't tell anybody. And of course, in the postseason, you want to play.
It's amazing how many guys have had the issue. I mean, Brett Myers had hip surgery, Mike Lowell, Alex Rodriguez.
Last year in the postseason, he went 2 for 15 against Milwaukee in the division series. That wasn't so good, and struck out 4 times. Then in the league championship series against the Dodgers, he went 6 for 17 with a homer, a .353 average. And then against the Rays, 3 for 18, but 2 of the hits were homers. 3-time All-Star.
And 1 the count with the go-ahead run out there at second. Braves going for a sweep of the Phillies. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, I don't know from an age standpoint how many great years he has left, but I mean, pushing towards, I think at the end of it, he'll be in consideration for the Hall of Fame.
If all these numbers continue, sure thing. There's something rare, though, about him. He got drafted by the Dodgers out of high school in the 2nd round, and they didn't sign him. They rarely let that happen.
And that was his team growing up. 0-2. McCann had to reach back, and Everett didn't give him the call.
Right above it, though, is the umpire's eyes were right above this pitch. Must have thought it was low. A pitch that didn't go the Braves' way against Victorino haunted him because he then hit a double.
Center field, Blanco in. Got it. And O'Flaherty does the job. Gets Utley. They strand Victorino midway in the 7th. And it is time to stretch. Good one going at Turner Field. We're knotted at 2. The Braves and the Phillies all locked up in this tie. Phillies have out hit the Braves 8-6. All right, we talked about the Bees. How about our Wendy's way better play of the day? Thanks to our friends at Fox Sports Houston. And, yeah, the way better play delivered by the beekeeper. I mean, guy has to go full get-up, takes the bee stuff out of the holsters. Look at all the bees flying out of here.
Hello.
Oh, did you see that?
See that one?
Yeah, well, the one. I mean, there was that one that was really a problem. And there he is. Yeah.
Fans are going crazy.
They love it. And then he gives a little hang loose, dude. Yeah, man, I got the bees. They're all gone.
Yeah, you got the bees. There's a lot of guys that have some bees in their bats tonight, especially the way Happ has worked the last couple of innings retiring the Braves in order. So they got to get the offense going again and make this a clean sweep.
How long were the bees behind the ball girl's seat before she noticed that?
The story was that it was supposed to be up under the seat. There was a nest, a bee's nest up under the seat back. And then when she put the coat over it, then it got worse, or they started collecting for fear that they were in danger somehow. You know, bees, when they get in danger, they come together. Start flying all around. They get in your hair.
Yeah, they do. Oh, he's got the broom out. I always wonder about that decision. You know, I mean, that guy was with some friends. You got tickets to the game tonight. You want to go? Yeah. I think I'm going to bring my broom.
And he's harassing the Phillies guy.
That's right.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. It's like the NFL games, the guys that bring the D and the fence.
Uh-huh.
Do you make those, or can you buy them in a store? Is there a store where you get a giant D and then a picket fence?
I'm thinking you can buy that fence somewhere. You got to.
I would. Mr. Fix-It Dave Baker doesn't seem to have an answer on that.
I think primarily you get those at Woolworth. Down.
Little flare, left field. It'll fall for a hit. And the go-ahead runs aboard. Casey Kochman having a good night and delivered the Braves a 2-run lead with this homer.
Baseball guys have a term. They call it same guy hit them both. He hit that little flare to left just now, and he also hit this one 417 feet. Laser Baker had that one tracked. That's our Airtran. How far did it fly home run?
Kochman out of the game, and Kelly Johnson will run for him. And Prado presumably will move over to first. Kelly will take over at second.
And you got Diori Hernandez pinch hitting here, so he's probably bunting. The other night, when he was playing for Escobar, Braves had runners at first and second, and he bunted them up. And he missed on the first opportunity, and on the second, it looked like he was almost bunting for a base hit to make sure he got the ball down the third baseline and make Feliz field it. But he must feel more comfortable bunting that way than he does actually squaring around and softening a little bit, because he was running out of the box on that one. Had already squared around there, though, so let's see how this one works out.
And another throw to first. They're in the fifth in Chicago, and at Wrigley Field, the Cubs lead the Brewers 9-2. Derek Lee has hit 2 homers, and he's knocked in 7. That's too high. I'm getting some people asking on the Facebook page about the rattle they keep hearing. And my answer is, I hear it too.
Yeah. About all I can do for you.
Yeah.
Must be down there somewhere near our crowd mic.
A little bit low, good eye.
Either that or Wayne Berry shaking his head real hard. Yeah, there it is. I can hear it. That's how he focuses, folks. Just makes those eyes roll around until they hit the slot.
What's happening here? Because Kelly's got a 1.5 lead, and Diori's made it pretty clear he wants to bunt.
Yeah, it's not like he's going to
sneak attack him.
He's already tipped it off that he's bunting. Short lead.
Up the first baseline. Good one, Howard. And Utley over there to cover. That was nicely done by Diori Hernandez. And Kelly into scoring position.
Great execution. Gets the bat out there in front of him on that one. That was patience. Waited for the ball to come to him, and that was just perfect, but right on the edge of the grass. Well received in the dugout for his efforts.
I liked him last night. They gave him the silent treatment when he hit the home run, and he just decided to start doing the high fives to himself.
Yeah, it was great. First major league homer. It made everybody happy last night in a Braves blowout, 11-1. There he is, high-fiving. Even Chino was in on it. Blanco's had a good series, 0 for 3 tonight, but has done a lot of damage to the Phillies in the first 2 games. Maybe he can come through again. Funny how that ebbs and flows. Last night they could do no wrong.
Phillies have Romero from the left side, Durbin from the right side, up and loosening in their pen. Toss to first. Got him. Just did get him at first. And Happ able to move over there. Kelly Johnson at third, and there's 2 away.
Didn't get him in, but what he did to here, and he was out at first base, but there's just so many other ways you can score from third base that you can't score from second. So that puts added pressure on the defense to make the play. So while it didn't get the run in, it was a productive out. One of the hottest guys on the planet at the plate.
All right, let me ask you this. If Chad Durbin's up in the pen, if you're not going to use him here, why is he up?
Can't answer that.
Okay.
97 pitches for Happ. Season high is 112. They must have confidence in the way he's been pitching and giving him a chance to get out of it. But
are you surprised he's not?
I am. I am surprised. If you got him up, you got him up for somebody, for a hitter, and you have to figure it was Prado. I said this about Martin a couple of weeks ago, that you can't pitch him a certain way, and that's why he's so dangerous in these situations, because he'll take it to right just as easy as he'll pull one through the hole. You really got to pick your pitches carefully.
Ball 3. And Chipper lurking in the on-deck circle.
He looked to Brian Snitker to see if there was a green light or if there was a take on. And then he looked again. Maybe he was surprised to see a green light. Let's see.
Ball 4. He lost them, and they're at the corners. And who's Chipper going to face?
Second walk of the night. Chipper's 0 for 2 against Durbin. 3 for 10 with a homer against Romero, and he's not going to face either one of them.
the corners. A 2-2 game, bottom 7.
First pitch swinging the last 2 times up.
And again, and I don't think that was a strike.
Jammed him a little bit. He had to fight it off. Remember early tonight we talked about how this guy could be a little bit like Randy Wolf. He could be a little sneaky and get the ball in on you, and you're a little surprised. I think that's happened to Chipper tonight.
Yeah, the swings would say as much.
He might make a mistake by trying to work Chipper away here as a result. If he's not picking the ball up out of his hand, if he's hiding it well and it's getting it on Chipper's hands, they might be better served to try to pitch him inside.
Wouldn't chase that one. Now 2-1. Lays off again. Would you almost think about just nibbling with him and going after McCann with either Happ or Romero?
At this stage of the game, yes, because you're in the 7th. You've already got the go-ahead run at third. What difference does it make? You got 2 guys in scoring position. Absolutely.
You got something to hit. And Victorino there. Braves leave a couple. We'll go to inning number 8 here at Turner Field. We're still tied at 2. Joe Simpson. Our Airtran Road schedule tomorrow night. We'll start it off taking on the Nationals and Adam Dunn. Did a tough season for Washington. Then it's on to Chicago. And on the north side, Derek Lee, 7 RBIs tonight, including a couple of homers. 3 in Chicago, and then 4 with the Rockies to finish off the first half. And what a turnaround it has been for Colorado under manager Jim Tracy. Our Airtran Road schedule. Our AT&T call to the bullpen.
How about a lefty?
How about Mike Gonzalez? So Mike on for the 40th time, 50 strikeouts in 37 innings.
Suffered a blown save in the first game of this series. Gave up back-to-back homers to Mayberry and Felice in the 8th inning. As you see the defensive changes, as Boog suggested, Prado moving over to play first and Kelly staying in the game to play second.
So Gonzalez facing Howard. I think Mike is such a weapon when the Braves match up against the Phillies, despite what happened the other night. Ooh, Mike Everett got clipped there. But, I mean, just break it down. In the late stages of a tight game, you're worried about Utley and Howard the most, and they are left-handed. How many guys, or I should say how many teams, have a lefty that throws 94, 95 that can match up against them?
Don't forget about Ibanez, too, when he comes back.
Absolutely.
Those guys usually hit back to back to back. The home runs were hit off Mike. Nobody on base, solo shots. And the averages against Mike are glaringly different when he works out of the windup with nobody on base versus when men are on base. Base is empty, a .250 average against him, 3 homers, and runners on working out of the stretch. I think he has a little better command working out of the stretch than sometimes I feel like out of the windup. He tends to fall off to that third base side so much it creates a little better pitch to hit and sometimes better pitch counts.
That roller foul, now 2-2. The other thing, too, the home runs that were hit the other night, both by right-handers. And I did ask Mike about that, about pitching wind-up and stretch, and told him that the numbers were different. And he said, you know, I feel good out of the wind-up. Back to work. Here's what we're talking about, what happened the other night.
That was a breaking ball, and Mayberry put a good swing on it. That was a fastball, and Feliz, as I told you earlier tonight, he loves the ball middle of the plate in. He's got likes to turn on the ball.
Howard did well to hold up on that one. And now 3-2. But I mean, this is one of those spots you want him to go right after. See him on that extreme third base edge of the rubber. That ball is a towering fly ball right field. But Francoeur has room and hauls it in on the track. And Mike Gonzalez take a deep breath.
Where was that ball landing at Citizens Bank Park?
Out of here.
Indeed. Don't worry. Be happy. That one stayed in the park.
And before Worth hits McCann out to the hill to chat with Mike Gonzalez. And the conversation's what?
Maybe something about how they worked Worth tonight and how they have in this series. 0 for 8, got hit by the pitch that was instrumental in the 6th inning rally. Ball just got away from Avi Vasquez, unfortunately, but that proved to be the tying run. Brian may have picked up something in his mechanics, too, that he wanted to tell him about.
Breaking ball low, ball 1. Saw Worth hit by that pitch. You said it. I think if there is one pitch that Javi Vasquez would like to have back, it's the one he he plunked Jason Worth with.
No question. Yeah, Greg Dobbs hits a double. Okay. But Worth was only on base. I think it was a 2-2 pitch that plunked him, that got him right in the middle of the back. Just got away from Vasquez.
There's a strike. Looks like Dobbs is not going to hit. And there is Mayberry. And ball 4. So the go-ahead run is on base. And with 1 out, Gonzalez will work out of the stretch. Folks, never dreamt of having on-field access for Braves batting practice. The Braves are now offering fans this incredible and unique experience prior to select games this year. To purchase this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, visit Braves.com/batting practice. You can get down there on the field, and we'll go through our handshake routine with you.
Right now, it looks a lot like the Three Stooges.
That's right. Finish off with a poke in the eyes.
Good-looking young player here. Not built at all like his father. He's got his father's height. Yeah, a great big rotund guy.
It's a good problem to have if you're the Phillies, but from John Mayberry's standpoint, where are you going to play? I mean, you got Ibanez for 2 years after this one. Victorino and Worth are both young. You have Howard signed for 3 years, $54 million.
Tough spot for him.
Ooh, whoa.
It is a tough spot for him, and I'm sure they want him to play too. So when Ibanez comes back, he may well find himself back in AAA, getting some more at bats. Tough to break in with a world champion club.
For sure. For all the struggles, the Phillies still in first place. Good pitch from Gonzalez. That one spoiled. 1-2.
We talked last year about their ball club and how they missed Aaron Rowan in center field. Not so much because Victorino couldn't pick up the slack out there. He certainly can. But his leadership, his veteran attitude in the clubhouse, and they win the world championship. Well, this year they don't have Pat Burrell. They sign Ibanez as a free agent. And their problem is not scoring runs. It's pitching all of a sudden.
Did he go? You bet. Mike Everett rings him up, and there's 2 gone. Big strikeout right there.
Mike wins this battle, tied him up after Mayberry had hit the home run off of him 2 nights ago. Couldn't connect there. Feliz, right after the home run by Mayberry 2 nights ago, jumped on the first pitch, hit it in the seats. So be careful here on the first one.
One of the things that's overlooked with Pedro Feliz, with the great year that he's having, he had off-season back surgery. They weren't really sure when he was going to be ready. He had surgery at the end of November on a herniated disc. They weren't sure if he was going to feel good swinging the bat to begin the season. And again, he's done a real good job. And a plus defender over there at third. Never a guy that's taken a lot of walks, but if you can get around a league average on base percentage out of him, which they have, he's going to hit you some homers and some extra base hits. Runner goes, throw is off the glove of Kelly Johnson, and Worth to third base.
I thought Brian got bumped a little bit by Felice. Let's watch here and see. He didn't complain to Mike Everett. No, it was just his mask that came flying sideways. Huge jump by Worth. He went on Gonzalez's first move, so I'm not sure they're going to get him anyway. And Kelly angry at himself for not catching that ball. You could see his reaction. Stolen base and an E2.
So 5th error of the year for Brian McCann. Braves now with 53 errors. That's 20th in the majors. The Phillies with 32. And that's the 3rd fewest.
Don't have to give in here. You got a guy really struggling on deck.
Whoa, off the glove, here comes the runner. Play at the plate, tag! Out! Great job, Brian McCann and Mike Gonzalez. Wow.
I thought the most important part of this move was that Brian McCann didn't just grab the baseball and fire blindly. He actually turned to find Mike Gonzalez and made a good toss to him. I mean, that's a big league wild pitch. But watch Brian pick it up, find him, and then throw. And Mike right there to drop it down in front of Jason Worth.
Might end up being a game-saving play right there. We stay tied at
Don't see this happen very often, but on a wild pitch, the Braves get out of the inning. Great throw by McCann. Good hustle by Mike Gonzalez, even though he took the helmet in the head. He gets the tag down. He got the shoulder in the head instead. Mike Everett right there with the call.
And Ryan Madsen on here gets McCann out front on a changeup. 0-1. So Gonzo and Mack hook up to cut down Worth at the plate.
This guy throws hard. He's hard to pick up. He's got an excellent changeup. Of all his pitches, it's probably the best.
How about our Arby's changes around the league, and Brian McCann, National League All-Star voting. He is still second to Yadier Molina. And you got to vote before midnight tonight at MLB.com. So have at it. McCann into left center field. And that'll fall for a hit. Mayberry rifles it in. And a single to start the 8th. Oh, McCann's cans in the house. That's what I'm talking about.
Back.
Brian McCann going to come out of the game.
They're going to have to cheer for his pinch runner, Jair Jurgens.
Bunted to first, and Howard really delayed himself that time. I think he had a shot at second base.
Well, he did it with the angle that JJ was taken to the bag. Jurgens looked like he was about to go to third. He was rounding the bag almost. He's got a smile on his face. Looked back over his shoulder, and then he started. Howard had a play. Definitely had a play. Here we go again, though. That runner in scoring position.
Rip to center. Victorino back over his head. Jurgens around third. JJ heading home. 3-2 Braves. Diaz delivers.
By the way, Matt Diaz is 7 for 11 in this series too. Against a tough right-hander, he gets a fastball down and in and launched it over Victorino's head. No stride, just all hands.
Just club.
A 3-hit night for him, and he puts the Braves on top. Base hit, a bunt, and another double.
So Jurgens comes flying around, 1 out man at second. And Garrett Anderson, the pinch hitter for Jeff Francoeur.
Bobby going for another run, obviously, rather than leaving Jeff in. He's a better defensive player with the lead.
Runner goes to third. Throw, safe. 4th steal for Matt Diaz.
4 for 4 on the year. They ignored him. Got a walking lead. Bang, bang play, but if you're going to go, you got to know you can swipe it in that situation. Could turn out to be a huge play going to the top of the 9th if Garrett can get him in.
Spoiled that one. Look at that.
I don't like that percentage.
I think the pitch selection is interesting here. Madsen's got a brilliant changeup, and Anderson is a still very good fastball hitter.
They fought that one off at 95. Garrett didn't face him here 2 nights ago. Huge extra run out there at third base.
Something with a little bit of a wrinkle there.
Looks like a cutter. Something biting in on his hands, yeah.
1-2 infield in. Diaz at third. Braves take the lead on Matt's double. In the air, right field. Way back. Way back. Out of here. Garrett Anderson off the bench. A 2-run blast. And the Braves now lead this one 5-2.
Push that button, and a big payoff.
First career pinch hit home run for Garrett Anderson. How about that?
Wow. How about that? He hit it out there in the bullpen. No cheapie.
Another look
at the location and what did they try to run by him. Well, if it was a fastball, it was not located where Ruiz wanted it.
Kelly rips that one to right, but Worth is there. He's got it, and that's out number 2. Those guys are happy?
Yeah, they are. Again, the offense is contagious. Makes everybody happy when you're scoring runs. We've already lost 13 of the last 17. And not looking so good here tonight. Braves with a great chance to sweep them. David Ross pinch hitting. He'll stay in the game to catch in the ninth.
This one a mile high. Utley out, and he's got it. And that's the inning. But the Braves with 3 big runs. A single, a bunt, and a double by Matt Diaz gave the Braves a 3-2 lead. And then Garrett Anderson touches them all, the 2-run blast. First big league pinch hit homer, 5-2 Atlanta. Our McDonald's game summary: Javier Vasquez outstanding again tonight, but once again they didn't score for him. He went 5 1/3, gave up 2 runs on 6 hits. Jay Happ even better, but Casey Kochman with a big 2-run homer. Garrett Anderson, his first career pinch hit homer, and a big night from Mac Diaz. 3 hits, including the game-winning RBI, and Garrett will stay in the game and take over in left field. Matt Diaz shifts across to right.
What a series he's had.
And we go to the 9th. Guess who? Not going to bring in McCann. Not going to bring in Chipper. We're going to the bullpen. Our AT&T call to the bullpen. And Rafael Soriano.
Remember, it was Feliz at the plate on that wild pitch that would have made the count 3-2 to him when Worth was thrown out trying to score on the wild pitch.
What a turn of events. The wild pitch, and Worth thrown out at the plate, and the Braves come up with 3 in the bottom of the 8th against Madsen. Right field, Diaz, 1 away.
No one's done too much damage against Soriano on this ball club. No one has more than 1 hit against him. Dobbs 1 for 4. Ruiz 1 for 4. Nobody else with a hit. Jason Worth 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts.
Paul Bacco is going to hit. How about the crowd here tonight? 38,254.
Happy 4th of July weekend. This game holds true. The Marlins were idle tonight, correct?
That is correct.
So they will be in a virtual tie with the Phillies by percentage points, but in a virtual tie with the Phillies for first place. The Mets will be 1 out, and the Braves 2 out.
Broke his bat, popped him up. Chipper and Ross. It'll be Chipper. Charlie Manuel's Phillies down to their final out. Braves Live coming up next. Red Hickman, Brian Jordan, Jerome Jurinovich. They'll have it all for you.
I like that. Braves trying to even the record at 21-21 at home too, and these fans have been great this whole homestand and created some real good baseball.
Wow. I mean, this thing is hit so far in the air. Prado got it! Ball game! Oh, what a grab, Martin Prado. Break out the brooms. The sweep is complete. Garrett Anderson, the big pinch hit homer. Matt Diaz, the game-winning RBI. And how's this one? Look out. He wasn't even looking.
Great play, and what a way for him to wind up this series.
Oh, the brooms. Sweep, sweep, sweep. Atlanta now 2 out of first. Up-to-date standings in the National League East. 5-2 our final. Will come